Okay, it's going to be our last meeting, our last regular meeting of this class at least. So it's going to be a little bit of a review, a little bit of just figuring out what's happening. Okay, so the first thing is kind of the schedule where we're at. Okay, so today's Monday when I'm recording this. I should release it today as well. Okay, so tomorrow, make sure you have all of the homework done. Tomorrow is the deadline for the homework. I'm going to grade the homework tomorrow. One thing on the grading, remember that the grades on Moodle are not correct. They make everything the exact same. But if you look, we're looking here at the grading procedures from the syllabus, which is posted on Moodle as well, that this is how we're going to break things up. Okay, so we've had one exam so far. There's one more exam. Okay, there's a presentation still due, and you basically group all of your programming assignments together, then that's worth a total of 50 points toward your final grade. You take each, the exam so far, the one we've done is worth 15%. The other one's worth 15% as well. And again, I think I've said this in class. If not, it's a common habit for me, and I will do it here, that I will average in the higher of your two exams twice. Okay, so for that 30 points, your high exam will count for 20 of those 30 in essence, and the other one will count for only 10. Okay, so it's a way to amplify the better work. So if you didn't do as well in the first exam as you would have liked, there's a chance for redemption there point wise. Okay, and then the presentation is worth 20 points as well in your final grade. And it's a normal 90, 80, 70, 60 scale. I don't round up. I don't round except I let Excel do the rounding. So I'm going to dump all of your grades into an Excel spreadsheet, and I'm going to gather all the programming assignments and then the presentation and the exams and go based on this. So make sure that you're calculating your grade correctly. Okay. One thing on that people have asked about, it's pretty common in my classes that if you've made a 90% on everything up to the final, you don't have to take the final and you make an A for the class, because the odds of you getting below an A would take a really poor effort on the final, which doesn't normally happen. Okay. The only tricky part on that is that the projects are not due until the day the exam goes live. Okay, the projects are due Wednesday, and that's when the exam starts. Okay, so if you are interested in that, and you can look through your grades and see if you've made a 90 on everything. If you're in doubt, you can ask me, and I will let you know if you have the potential for that. Okay, but and Sharon didn't mean to. Okay, so again, if you look through that, back to here as to what's going on. So make sure I'm correct on my days here. Oh, we're now this week. Yeah, so the final project, we click here, is due on Wednesday at midnight. Okay, you can start taking the exam Wednesday morning. Okay, so here's the thing. If you think you're in a position where you're not going to have to take the final, you also have to get a 90 on the project. Okay, so it means that you want to submit it as soon as possible. Drop me an email telling me you're interested in doing this, and I'll go ahead and grade your project right away and give you time before the exam is due. Okay, so it may mean if you want to turn that in Wednesday morning and let me know, I'll grade it, and then you'll know whether or not you have to take the exam. Okay. If you've done that well all semester, you're probably going to be okay, but just to be on the safe side. Okay. I know some people were having trouble. I only had where you could upload one file for the project, which was not correct. So I've changed that, but there may be an issue. I haven't heard anything more about it, where your video file may be too big. Okay. If so, I think Barbie had just sent a link to the material sheet uploaded to the Open Virginia website. And from there, I was able to get everything and download it. And that worked just perfect. That worked really well. Okay. So if you have questions about that, you can ask me, or you can message Barbie direct, and she can help you out with that theoretically. Okay. Okay. So then as far as the final itself, so I already did a review somewhat before. I think it was on not last week, but the week before on the Thursday. Okay. So you have some information about that. Okay. But in general, Let's see, we're going to get where we're at here. Yeah, it's chapters 8, which is going to be on classes and objects. Chapter 9 is on inheritance. Okay. Chapter 10 is on polymorphism. We got the abstract stuff there and the interfaces. Okay. And then we skipped ahead to, we did chapter 11 on exception handling. And then the last thing that wasn't on the review last time is chapter 14 on strings and characters and regular expressions. Okay. So like I said before, and I think I've mentioned this in some of the office hours, but I went ahead and thought a little bit more about it. And I'm fairly certain now I have a rough draft of the final exam. The first problem on the exam, and again, it's going to be 3 1-hour exams basically that will together make up the final. Okay. So that's the first thing that will happen. Hold on just a second. I have to tell my Alexa to stop for a second. Alexa, stop. That's an alarm that I totally forgot about. So I'm like, what is that weird noise? Okay. So anyway, back to that. So there'll be 3. Each question will be its own exam that will all be combined together to give you the final exam. Okay. So the first question will be on creating a class of some sort. Okay. And I could either give you a UML diagram for that, or I could give you a description of what I want. Okay. Remember that we can have multiple constructors. You have to have at least one constructor. There's a default constructor that Java creates, but that's not very useful. So you could have a constructor with any of the member data. Member data is private in general if you're just creating a single class. And the functions you make are public, typically, unless there's a good reason not to be. I'm going to expect you to know, and you can, it's open book, open notes, so you can look things up, what functions you need. Okay, so I may say include the standard functions, which means you want an accessor and a mutator for each of the member data. Okay. You want to use exceptions where needed. Okay, so if I'm asking for data that could give an error if somebody input something wrong, remember that the input mismatch is the most generic error, and that's if you're asking for a number if they give you letters. Okay, so I'm not going to say, potentially, I'm not going to say, handle all exceptions. It's assumed that you're going to handle exceptions. There won't be a problem specifically on exceptions. Okay, so you'll have to put exceptions into every problem that you do. Okay, so the first one is just going to be creating a class with all the normal stuff that we have in classes. Okay, the second problem will be to take that class. So you're going to go ahead and turn a class in for the first problem. The second problem will take the same class that you just created and do something with inheritance. You'll either inherit something from that, you'll create a superclass, an abstract superclass above it that may have abstract functions. You'll be doing something, so you don't have to start over again, basically. Okay. So that will be problem 2. So that will deal with the inheritance. It could deal with polymorphism. It'll deal with abstract classes. Okay. Again, I'm not going to ask you about interfaces or any of that stuff. Okay. And then the third problem will not relate to the first 2 at all. And it will be about stuff from the string class. Okay. As I said in class last time, I'm interested mostly in the basic string handling functions. Be doing a split, moving to and from character arrays into strings and strings back into character arrays, be doing the uppercase conversions, replace, find, that kind of stuff. And also being able to do, actually, there will not be regular expressions. I said that, so don't worry about regular expressions, okay? So just worry about the basic string functions, moving things into a string and moving things out, okay? And you won't be, I won't ask anything about those derived base classes for integers and all that. So just, if you have string and character functions down, that should be all you'll have to do for that one. Now that problem, as string problems often are, may be a little tricky. I mean, in that you'll have to think about it. You'll have to carefully work out on paper an example to get what you have to do. You're going to have a list of all the functions that you can use. So which one are you going to get? Okay. So the homework problems we had on strings are an example of that. you have to have a strategy to get those conversions. And there's more than one way to do it, as we talked about last video. Okay. I think that's about it. If there's anything else going on, if you have any homework from way back, and there's a really good reason why it wasn't done back when it was due, I mean, let me know. If we've already talked about it and I've said I'm not going to take it, that's not going to change. But if it's something new or recent, let me know what's going on. Okay. If you have any questions about grades, now is the time to ask them. Okay. So we can get them taken care of. Again, if you think you don't have to take the final, make sure you get your project turned in Wednesday really early, and then let me know, send me an email, which will give me time to grade it and let you know for sure whether you have to take the final, which gives you, again, Thursday or Friday or whatever to take the exam. If you know you're going to have to take the final, then remember it's going to go live probably Wednesday at 10 o'clock would be my guess. Okay. And you can take it up through Friday at midnight. Okay. And then I have to have it done by then because I have to get it graded and have to get grades in, I think, on Monday or Tuesday. So things move quick. Okay. So I'm going to grade the chapter 14 homework probably this evening. So make sure you turn that in as quick as you can. And we'll kind of go from there. Okay. I think for this week, we're going to have office hours Tuesday at 7. So if you have any other questions or want to talk about things, that would be the time to do it. You can also send me an email or a text message or whatever you want to do. Okay. So that's all I've got. So again, I think most of you are programming at a good level, which is a good thing. So you'll be able to do well in the final, hopefully. So if you have any questions, make sure you let me know. Okay. And if not, I will see you guys on Tuesday.